Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is right now, you are right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 42 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about something that should not be controversial at all, but somehow has become controversial anyway. The story that caught my attention earlier this week involved HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and by default, his MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again. And believe it or not, the trigger was Dunkin, what used to be known as Dunkin' Donuts. You see, apparently, RFK Jr. suggested that extremely sugary drinks sold by major chains should be scrutinized more closely. In other words, if companies are putting huge amounts of sugar or questionable additives into beverages marketed to teenagers, maybe, just maybe, they should be able to demonstrate that what they're selling is safe. That's it. That's the controversy. And yet, the reaction from some politicians, well, Democrats, was immediate outrage. The governor of Massachusetts even joked about come and take it, as if protecting Dunkin' iced coffee from scrutiny were some kind of revolutionary cause. Now, let's take a moment and step back. RFK Jr.'s stated goal is very simple. As we said before, MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. You can debate the methods, you can debate the policies, but the goal itself, that should be something every American, left, right, and center, can agree on. Making Americans healthier should not be partisan. And yet, it's 2026, so here we are. For years, and I do mean years now, the Democratic Party has talked about how the United States should emulate Europe in many, many ways. We hear constantly about how European countries regulate industries more aggressively, especially when it comes to public health. Well, here's an inconvenient fact. When it comes to food, Europe really is stricter. Western European countries ban or heavily regulate many additives and ingredients that are perfectly legal here in the States. And the result is widely acknowledged. Europeans, in general, consume much fewer ultra-processed ingredients and, in many cases, have much healthier food systems. This is one of the things that the left has so long envied about Europe. Those are the exact issues that Kennedy has been talking about. This is RFK Jr.'s passion. He's questioned whether certain additives should remain in or out of our food supply. He's raised concerns about excessive sugar content in products marketed to young people. He's asked whether companies should prove the safety of ingredients before putting them in the American food supply. None of that used to be controversial. In fact, concerns about processed food and chemical additives used to be a bipartisan issue. It was something people on the left talked about constantly. Natural food movements, organic food movements, ingredient transparency, those conversations didn't start on the right. Let's be honest about that. So what changed? We know what changed. The politics changed. More specifically, what changed is the mindset that anything associated with Donald Trump or anyone working in his administration must automatically be opposed. And that mindset has reached the point where it's distorting rational debate. Because now we're in the bizarre situation where a proposal that says, hey, let's make sure our food supply is healthier, is being treated like a political attack. Think about how absurd that is. Crazy, ridiculous, moronic even. We're talking about questioning ultra-processed ingredients, excessive sugar, and additives that many other developed countries already restrict. These are not radical ideas. These are common sense public health questions. But instead of having a serious discussion about them, the response has been mockery and instant opposition. A reflex, if you will. And that brings me to something that started off as a joke years ago, but increasingly feels like a genuine phenomenon. Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. Originally, the phrase was used sarcastically to describe people who would oppose literally anything connected to Donald Trump, no matter what it was. But look around you today. When a policy proposal aimed at improving the quality of the American food supply is rejected out of hand simply because the person advocating it happens to work in the Trump administration, that's not thoughtful political opposition. That's pure reflex, tribalism, and it's dangerous because healthy democracies require debate, but they require good faith debate. If RFK Jr. proposes something you disagree with, argue about the details, challenge the science, propose better solutions. That's how it should work. But automatically opposing the very idea of improving food quality or questioning additives simply because of who's making the argument, that's not serious governance. And it certainly doesn't help the American people. This is an issue that shouldn't even be political. It really shouldn't be. And yet here we are. It wasn't that long ago Americans across the political spectrum could agree on certain basic principles. We all want healthier food. We all want fewer harmful ingredients in what we eat. We all want our kids growing up consuming things that are closer to real food than to chemistry experiments. We might disagree on how to get there, but the goal itself was shared. Now, even the goal is being politicized. And that's a real problem. Because if our politics reaches the point where improving the health of the American people becomes a partisan fight, if even that becomes something people reflexively oppose depending on who proposes it, then we've lost the ability to have rational conversations about the most basic issues affecting this country. And that should concern all of us. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about Dunkin. It's about something way beyond iced coffee. And you know what? It's not even really about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's about whether we're capable of having serious, honest debates about the health and well-being of the American people without turning every single issue into a tribal political war. And if we can't do that, then we're going to have much bigger problems than what's in our coffee. All right, that's enough for today. We'll continue next time. And as always, be useful.